Welcome all, Raymond for Stream Gamers. Today we're going to do a video about the Grumman Goose, obviously. We are sitting at Tofino on Victoria Island in Canada. And this video is about the top 10 things I didn't know about the goose. And hopefully there will be some other people that don't know these things exist on here. As well, maybe there'll be people that will know some stuff that I don't know, and they can add it to the comment section and share that information. Right, so let's get into the aircraft. Here we are. We're gonna go through a start procedure. We're only gonna start the one engine just so we have some power and so forth, so I can illustrate some of the things that I wasn't aware of. So let's do that now. First things first is let's go along the back wall here. Here's your main shut-off valve. So you can have that valve shut off. You can burn up the left tank and then burn up the right tank, 110 gallons each tank. Here's your fuel cutoff switches, right? So for your right and left engine. We're going to start the right engine. We're going to pump the fuel. This is a manual fuel pump. My suspicions are similar to the primer. I'm not sure. If somebody knows that I do or do not need to do this, put it in the comment section. That would be great help for me. Okay, down here, you would think on the captain's side, but no, all of your switches are down here, which is something I didn't realize. Now, in fairness, I have a switch panel that I use, and so I typically don't look for these switches because I have the switch panel. If I put the battery on, the battery turns on, right? If I need the nav lights on, bang, that down they're on, and the beacon just the same, right? So I can just go around and flip these switches. But for those that don't know where this is, that's where it is. Also, didn't know where this was, but right there is the landing gear. Again, I have a switch that I use for that, so I never use that. But if you ever wanted to use that, that's where it is. So we got battery. Now, this is a big one that I didn't know about, and that is we have this little handheld radio thingamabobby thing right there. And so that gives us the chance and the opportunity to tune radios and so forth. If you don't have a radio stack, you can come in here and tune. This one here tunes the decimals. This one here tunes the primaries. This one here swaps it back and forth. Likewise, you can come down here and do various different, do the ident and squawk your code, put your squawk code in, and all that relevant stuff. You can ident your, I guess you can do an ident on your altitude and so forth. Anyways, I didn't know that we could do that. That's a neat feature. Okay, so let's get it started, and then we will go on to the next step. Now, I have a dial that I can turn my switches. Okay, so I'm not going to. I'm going to turn this switch in, only this switch in, because that's the one we want to start. We push the cutoff switch in. We take the mixture control and we put it full rich. Pull the throttle to open ever so slightly. And we pray and hope that I've done everything that it's supposed to do, and it'll start. Pressing the starter button. And it didn't. Oh, because, no, that is in. Did I not? No, that's there. Did I not prime the fuel enough, maybe? That switch is on. That is on. Avionics don't have. Generator don't care. Little finicky, this thing. I'm finding it's finicky anyways. Let's try again. It seems like you have to push that button twice. And then the holding in of the button. Okay, there we go. So possibly I didn't prime it enough. But here we go. So we're running. So now that we have one of the engines running, and that's really all I care to have on, we're going to come down here and put the generator on, so we're no longer running on the battery. Okay. So now we're gonna take a look at some other features that I did not know existed in this aircraft, right? So one of them is, oh, let's go down here. There's your tail wheel lock. Again, I didn't know that that's where it was, nor have I ever actually used it. But you know, so if you want to taxi around the airstrip, and for takeoff, obviously, and for landing, you want to have your tail wheel locked so that when you land, it doesn't go all squirrely on you. So that's another one that I didn't know existed and where it existed. Engine temperature. So we can see engine temp 1 is coming up, right? You can see that right there. The temp is coming up. But I can switch it over to engine 2. Now, I'm not sure what the deal is with 3 and 4. Was this modeled because there are variations that have 4 engines and just we don't use those? But you could see that in engine 2, the temperature is quite high as opposed to engine 1. If we were to start engine 1, then you could toggle back and forth to see what was the actual engine temperature. Carb heat, cold starts, obviously, right? Boop boop. There they are. Now let's go back and have a peek. One of the things that I've discovered recently, and that is most of the aircraft, you can actually go into the cabin. Click the door. Press the Alt key and your arrow keys, not your number pad arrow keys, but the other ones, allows you to move around freely around the cabin. Okay? So for this, I'm going to turn down the lights a bit because I want to show you something in here. Lights are coming down. There we go. So you can see it's dark. I got my flashlight out there just kind of flashing around all over the place. But if you look up on the wall there, there's a light switch. And if you turn that on, we have cabin lights. I didn't know this. Likewise, if we go to you see how it's dark at the back end of the aircraft. If we go down to the back end of the aircraft, which wall is it now? Is it this wall? There, this wall. Got lights back here as well. There is a lavatory in there. It is inaccessible to us, so if you must go, you better find a different place. Anyways, we can't walk in there. And another thing that I was not aware of, and that is, let me just get myself positioned here. These rear windows open. Isn't that neat? I just find that fascinating that exists. So one of the things that I'm thinking here is I've kind of looked at some of the aircraft in 2020 and thinking to myself, well, they're not very what's the word? I just noticed something interesting here. That opens as well. As opposed to this side, it doesn't have that. I just saw that. I just noticed that. So for, maybe larger cargo having to come into the aircraft, right? Maybe more like a cargo door than it is just a window. But it's neat. Yeah, so I did not know this, and I wouldn't say I've been critical necessarily of some of the aircraft in 2020, but I've been a little disheartened with the lack of attention to detail that some of the third-party developers have put into their aircraft, whereas these default aircraft haven't had these things. So I encourage everybody to explore the aircraft, and I'm going to be doing just that. More so, I'm going to be exploring these aircraft because I wonder how many other little trinkets, features, and so forth are within the aircraft that I don't know anything about. So some simple things like this little handle. Now it doesn't interact, but it could have. Is there a button doodabby thing that allows this window to open? If so, oh, you see, there's our rudder trim. Okay, I didn't know that was there. Anyways, yeah, it's so, keep your eyes and ears open. look. You know, like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff here as well. But definitely comment on this aircraft and other aircraft that you've discovered some neat, unique things that possibly people may or may not know. This is going to be a bit of a shorter video, and so you know, I think I'm done. We've had the engine running. We know how to start it, and we know how to discover some of the trinkets and tools and interesting things about the aircraft. If you have more, put them in the comment section. I'm happy to discover them. I'll be excited to discover them, as I'm sure the rest of the community will as well. Now, finally, in closing, I want to talk briefly about Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. We all know, or most of us know, we're getting closer and closer to it. And you ask yourself, why would I put out a video like this on the 2020 aircraft? Well, I've done it because some of these aircraft are going to come across, and you're going to want to know maybe possibly the features and options. But most importantly, it's kind of a segue into my next series of videos that I'm going to be going through, and that is discovering the new aircraft, or the aircrafts in the new simulator 2024. And some of their enhancements and features and so forth. I will likely go through 3 or 4 aircraft that I have access to, or information about, I should say, about some of their controls and that kind of stuff. And as more comes available, stay tuned. I will give more information. Right. Raymond for Stream Gamers. Appreciate your likes, your comments, your subscriptions, and all those wonderful things. You all have yourselves a wonderful day. Be kind, have fun, enjoy life, play games, and yeah, and that's it for this one. Bye-bye now.